Yes, I called it 2-0, and it happened. So if you're celebrating right now, you might be missing the warning signs. So let's get ready. By the end of this episode, I'm going to show you exactly how this team, although you might be happy right now, will end up breaking your heart again. So welcome to the channel. My name's Albert Campa. This is the Pocho podcast. So I have plenty of experience. I'm sort of like an old timer of watching L3 and of watching the Mexican national team not only play in World Cups, but disappoint. Probably before since many of you were born. So the promise of this episode is, and any podcast that I make, is no hype, no bandwagon, no fanboying. I'm just a guy who's seen this movie many times, and I'll tell you how it is. So let's get into it. So let's discuss the receipts first. This is the part where I was right, and I earned it. I called 2-0. The only thing I did get wrong in this is that I thought it would be 2-0 with the goal scored in the second half once the altitude hit in. Mexico pressed in the early on, and were able to get some good offensive attacks. And but let's go more into what my call meant. Let's do the 2010 parallel. Javier Aguirre was the coach then. He is the coach now. Mexico played South Africa in the opener. That was a 1-1 tie. Mexico went out round of 16. Are we repeating history again? A little bit different here. Mexico wins 2-0. So predicting this score was the easy part. Now we got to predict what happens next. That's the whole show. That's the whole point of being a Mexican fan. So let's start with the match. Let's get into it. What actually went down? Quiñones scores the first goal of the entire tournament, ninth minute, off a South African mistake, a giveaway near their own box. Eric Lira gets the assist. Boom. Score for Mexico. They are up 1-0. So this is the Pocho podcast. So let's talk a little bit about what a Pocho is. So Quiñones is sort of a good example. Quiñones was born in Colombia. He was naturalized. Who counts as Mexican? That's a conversation that I've had years ago. If you remember Guille Franco, you remember Ciña. There's been others. Woso, another naturalized. So my take, and we can discuss this in a different episode. I'm not truly a fan of naturalized Mexicans. I want Mexican players, the Mexican national team, to consist of Mexicans who were brought up from youth, from the lower divisions as kids growing up in Mexican soccer. That's a true reflection of what Mexican soccer is. Someone who comes into the Liga MX as an adult who wasn't able to make their home team's club like Argentina or Colombia or whatever, and they second choice is Mexico. I don't really like that, but we can get into that later. In this game, Mexico was in control of the first half. The altitude was doing its work. South Africa was parking the bus. Now, let's get into the next moment. This is something that's a little bit serious. Raúl Jiménez gets his first goal, World Cup goal ever. Tears are on the field. This is in the second half. This is a weight that was on Raúl Jiménez. If you don't remember, I remember Raúl Jiménez plays with Wolves. He gets a horrible injury, fractures his skull. I thought it was done. This was 2020. I thought he would never play again. He goes on to later play in 2022, doesn't get a goal. Now, this is the moment where it comes. He gets the goal in Azteca in the World Cup, the first game he finally gets. He's a veteran. I remember there was time after this injury where I was like frightened and frightened for his, any type of uh, ball that went close to. I thought he would never be able to hit a ball in his life again. Any type of instance like this, it just scares me. But he came through. He came through in the clutch, and that was a great moment. Uh, People were just, out of their seats celebrating, and that's what we love to see as fans. That's what makes it beautiful. So the game ended, but it couldn't end without Mexican things happening. So the game ends. Two South African players get sent off, but a crucial moment. Cesar Montes commits a foul, gets the red card. This is what has to happen in a Mexican match. We can't just have a 2-0 win, a very positive note. It has to end on this sort of sour note. Cesar Montes with the red, he's out of the game. The game ends 10 players versus 9. We're still up 2, but we had to find a way to make it chaotic. That's the Mexican thing, the bitter thing that ends. So now let's get into the actual part where where the important part of this episode is. This is what I'm here for this episode. So tonight, everyone loves Aguirre. Everyone loves the players. They're heroes. We're going to make a deep run, right? We're going to go deep into the World Cup. I heard a comment today. Mexico could win the World Cup. We've seen this every 4 years. We've seen ups, and then eventually comes the down. So the prediction that matters, will we have a turn? Will we have great form early on? Will we have a great first game against South Africa? And then have a meltdown in the round of 16 or an elimination round? The result of this match wasn't the issue, wasn't the problem. The problem is how we're going to end up feeling. Right now, we're feeling great. Right now, we're happy. We're celebrating. Hopefully, we're not over celebrating because we don't know what's the next to come. So, where do we go from here? South Korea, June 18th in Guadalajara. Czechia is also in the group. The South Korea game, that's the game that matters. That's the most important game. This beginning game, yes, it was the opener, but South Korea is the match that matters. South Korea is organized, they're fast. That's what's going to tell us what this team really is made of. The opener tells us nothing. So I'll be back with a breakdown for that in a few moments. South Korea is playing Czechia. We'll take that. I'll have some shorts and information for you guys on that. So if you want the honest truth about the Mexican national team in this World Cup, no bandwagging, no fanboying. You might even say a little bit on the negative side. I've been hurt too many times. Come to this podcast, subscribe. We're going to cover the World Cup. We're going to cover the Mexican national team all the way through. Hopefully, it ends on a good note. Hopefully, miracles happen. But harden yourselves. Be prepared. Be prepared for what might come. Let me know. Let me know in the comments how you guys felt, and we'll talk to you guys later.